Hey everybody, it's Bust with Busted Strategies number 53. Getting ourselves to the end of the old Midnight Hunt. I think we'll have one more Midnight Hunt video in us, and then it will be off to the Crimson Vow. Yeah, ready for action, ready to go. Had my had my mind blown this morning as uh, I mentioned in the past video or two that I took off work for the release of Crimson Vow, which I believe to be on November the 19th. That's when it's released on paper. Was absolutely wrong. It's released a week early. And so I was listening to the radio this morning, and it was a first world problems type of episode thing. And guy was on there talking about he took off a week of work for the release of Final Fantasy XIV's expansion, and it got delayed. It's like, oh, poor guy. I'm right up here with you, right up here with you, just taking the PTO for nothing. But nonetheless, we'll turn our misfortunes into something beautiful here with this one. And Tainted Adversary, reasonable start. It's not like ridiculous by any means. That this isn't like a big game breaking epic. Or mythic as we would see out of some cards, but 2/3s for 2 are pretty powerful in this format, and then the ability to generate all these zombie tokens is quite decent as well. And so, otherwise, the only cards we'd look to take would be Eaten Alive or Ambitious Farmhand. I think the Adversary is stronger than the Farmhand. I could see an argument for Eaten Alive, but I just think that there's so much good black removal in this format that you don't usually have to go out of your way to find it. So I think that's okay to let it go. Alrighty, and then moving on to this pack, the strongest card far and away would be the Gavany Dawnguard. It's much stronger than the likes of Falcon Abomination or Olivia's Midnight Ambush. It's just I'm not a huge fan of playing white black. I don't think it's a particularly good archetype in terms of the just being out here and trying to do the engine deck, right, where we're sacrificing stuff and putting counters on dudes with Odric's Outrider or whatever you're trying to do with that deck. I just it's good if it comes together, but it just needs like so many pieces to come together that I just don't really like it. But we've already got one zombie generator here in the Tainted Adversary. We find another one in the Falcon Abomination. I feel like blue black is, if not the best, it's the second best deck in the format, and so as we have these zombie cards kind of show up here for us, I think we're free to go in and try and chase it down. And then still a reasonable pack here. I'm looking at the Dreadhound. This would just kind of solidify our late game and not give us a need to pick up any more. I've talked about Covert Cutburst quite a bit here recently, just do not like it. And so our only other options here would be the Crawl from the Cellar, Shady Traveler, or Geistwave, all of which are fine, but these are more along the lines of like 6th and 7th and 8th pick cards, and then cards you're pretty happy to get at like pick 10. I think the Dreadhound is just a little bit more powerful than all of these. Okay, and there's a gift in the Infernal Grasp. Don't mind if I do. And so with this, I wanted to see if there was the potential for any of these cards to come back, as we're seeing these like Crawl from the Cellars. Maybe at pick 11 we'll have a Crawl from the Cellar. That would be a pretty big high roll. But with this pack, I think the best we could hope for would be a Component Collector, right? There's going to be like Thraben Exorcism, Raise the Effigy, these werewolf cards, Stuffed Bear, just not enough good stuff here remaining for us to get a Crawl from the Cellar or a Startle back. Don't know why I've been getting Startles like super late these days. I think people just forgot they didn't get the memo or something as to how incredibly good Startle is, and I've just been seeing it wildly late. Okay. So all around pretty weak set of cards here. The strongest one that we would be able to play would be the Flare of Faith. I mean, we're not really locked into blue or anything here. We could still find ourselves playing white-black. I would just prefer to not have to do something like that. I don't think those are good whatsoever. The Ominous Roost, we're not going to have the flashback cards to play with it, and so we're looking at like the Otherworldly Gaze, Arrogant Outlaw, or Novice Occultist, and like I'm just going to take the Occultist. I don't particularly like this. I think it's really dropped down in value as we've gotten more familiar with the set, but it's 2-drop and can kind of stall the board a little bit. It can be worthwhile if we do manage to pick up an Eaten Alive or something along those lines. Okay, so still feeling pretty good about being in blue-black here, even though that last pack was kind of weak. We're getting both Revenge of the Drowned or Flip the Switch here, and I'd much rather have our first Revenge of the Drowned. We always play one Revenge of the Drowned, may or may not play a copy of Flip the Switch. Okay, then the novice occultists keep rolling through. I don't really want it, but we like rarely find ourselves in a place to where we actually have to play Locked in the Cemetery. And we could look to pick up the jack-o'-lantern, I guess, if we want to try and perhaps like splash red or something. If we find a big time bomb in one of the next couple of packs and want to have the ability to splash it, but I do also kind of like the idea of just hard cutting black here. The real strength of our deck is in the black cards, and the occultist lets us kind of push towards that direction. Arrogant Outlaw, it's just filler, but sometimes it's just that filler that we have to play. And let's see what we can get the rest of the way. The Unblinking Observer was the only playable there. Another Occultist and Vampire Interloper. I mean, this would be like our third Occultist. We could look to switch into white-black and be in the Sacrifice deck. We have the activators in the Occultist. We just don't have the Sacrifice cards. And I haven't seen any at this point, and I haven't seen anything to indicate I want to be in white other than a bunch of Flare Faiths. And so I think we can let it go. There was the... Ooh, that's a late Geist Wave. There was the Vampire Interloper there, but we're not really piecing ourselves into being an aggressive blue-black deck. And so I did mean to take it because we're never going to play 3 Novice Occultists. I just got a little slow on my APM there to go in and pick that up. But Geist Wave is great. Whoever's behind us can take these red cards. Sideboard. And in the post, sure. And the last one, so yeah, not bad, not bad. Not a lot of really, high quality cards throughout the end of the pack there, but a pretty good core with the good curve that we have: the adversary, the abomination, and the dreadhound, and then the 3 very good spells to go along with it. Okay. So yeah, with this one, these are all reasonably high quality cards. I'm not going to start with Covetous Castaway. I do like this, but not so much in the deck that we've assembled. I really want to have ways with the Castaway to sacrifice it off, to discard it out of our hand, and to mill it. Like I like to kind of have the total package before we play this. Otherwise, there's too many games where it's just like a 1-3. And we don't have any of the sacrifice cards at this point. So I'm really just looking at the Falcon Abomination here. I think it's much better than the Digraph Horde. We're passing on a defense trait, but I think our removal is good at this point. But so the thing that we're kind of looking for here is just like some of the payoff for being in zombies, whether or not that's just something very minor like Siege Zombie, or if we're going to find Scab Wranglers, as we immediately get a Scab Wrangler as we're talking about it. We just need something to pay off for this go wide strategy. Scab Wrangler is exactly it. And then with this pack, there are reasonable wheels out of this. It's unfortunate that Can't Stay Away is here, but maybe someone will just rare draft it. Otherwise, it's gonna be tough for us to get. Like, we would really like to get the Crawl from the Cellar. If not the Crawl from the Cellar, the Shady Traveler. Feels like if we get a wheel out of this, it's just going to be our 4th Novice Occultist, which not particularly interested in. But can't complain, though. We got the Scab Wrangler out of there. Can't complain about this pack, though. This is just complete garbage. What can we even do with this? We can't play the Ominous Roost. We don't have enough flashback cards. The only things left after the Roost would be the Otherworldly Gaze. I'm just going to pick up the Rite of Oblivion here. We've kind of talked about maybe we'll pick up the Jack-o'-lanterns and those type of cards to activate this. We do have the 3 Novice Occultists to really have some sacrificable effects for it. Maybe this will come into play. I don't think it's going to, but that option is there. And here we'll just be taking the Hobbling Zombie. I don't feel like this is a deck where we really need to chase after Heirloom Mirror. We do have some of these decks to where, it gets late and we don't have a finisher. And so we just kind of get stuck playing the Mirror. I don't think we're there today now that we have the Dreadhound. But Hobbling Zombie's pretty on theme with what we're trying to do. And then here's another zombie payoff card in the Corpse Cobble. Quite nice. There's a lot going on in this pack between Corpse Cobble, Defense Straight, and Siege Zombie. I think we're stuck taking the Corpse Cobble. This is going to kind of like finish us off in terms of having late game stuff to do, just being able to generate this big zombie. The question I'm asking myself, though, is like, do we ever just take the defense straight and then just be like ultra greedy and try to wheel something here? I think we're too deep in, right? 2, 4, 6, 8. We're never getting any of these back with the last 2 cards. And so let's snatch up the Corpse Cobble here. It's like, where did it go? I was pretty sure that we picked it, and I thought it just did something weird. Okay, that's good. And of course, it plays well with our Novice Occultists. It plays well with all of the zombie generation that we have. Just another big payoff for what we're trying to do here. Okay, and then this is a pretty easy flip the switch. I'm glad that we're picking up this zombie generation. We kind of struggle with this at sometimes, but we don't need more Crit Behemoth. We have our 2 big boys in the Corpse Cobble and the Dreadhound, and so this is our only playable here in flip the switch. Ooh, a larder zombie and a siege zombie. I think I would like my first siege zombie here. I don't know if that's correct. I mean, the larder zombie has like really grown on me these days. It just shuts down a lot of decks, and then the card quality is quite good. I think it might just be better than siege zombie. Let's actually come over here and pick up this one. I'm seeing these jack-o'-lanterns and such roll around late. All right, here's an heirloom mirror. Don't think we'll play it, but we have that late game option should we need it. We'll ruin someone's day by taking the Festival Crasher here. We're never playing Devious Cover Up, and oh boy, isn't that a pick 10? Jesus, pick 10 Organ Hoarder. All about taking these first pick. It's bonkers seeing these go around so late. Would love to pick up a Crawl from the Cellar as well. I would just like that whole pack. That's the kind of place where I'm expecting to be picking up Shady Travelers. I do like the Shady Traveler. I think he's a very good ground-based unit, but man, not in that pack. That was wild. Okay, let's get through the chaff here. I don't think I'm going to go ahead and get out some of these cards. I don't think as we pick up Evolving Wilds. It's like I just moved out the white-black double removal spell as we picked up an Evolving Wilds. Maybe we'll look to add it back in. Let's just remember that it's in our sideboard. I would need another like jack-o'-lantern or something before I'd want to play it. Okay, well, not as good of an open as the previous pack, but I think this is where we land on our Siege Zombie, and then we hope to table a Geist Wave out of this. I don't really like stacking multiple copies of either. Well, I definitely don't like stacking multiple copies of Revenge of the Drowned. Just a little bit too expensive. Geist Wave I'm a little bit more okay-ish with, but we do need to pick up a bit more interactivity, but I'm hoping to kind of snatch another Defense Straight or something. I know we saw a lot of them and passed them, but I think we're okay here. All right, I'm happy to take the Falcon Abomination over the Mysterious Tome, also over the Midnight Ambush. This might really limit us in being able to find removal spells from this point forward, but I think we're okay. Like, as long as we're able to pick up another, even just a bounce spell, I'm kind of okay with it. Here, we'll take the No Way Out. Never playing Cut Purse. We don't have the Vampires for the Blood Thief. Locked in the Cemetery, Cover Up, or Trash. This also generates a zombie. Always love having me a single copy of No Way Out. Right, well, there is the Evolving Wilds Jack-o'-lantern. Maybe we'll get to table one of these. I doubt it, since this pack is so red-heavy. But we're picking up our second Organ Hoarder here nonetheless. We're really covered off on our card advantage needs at this point. Hobbling Zombie's fine. So yeah, we're probably not going to get another removal spell, which is our own doing. I guess we can add in the Silver Bolts. Probably not going to play it. There is the Jack-o'-lantern if we say want to try and splash that white card. We have the sacrificable stuff for it, and if we just wheel like one more of these cards, I'll be pretty happy about it. And what a ridiculous set of cards! The Falcon Abomination, Organ Hoarder, Nebelgast. Insane that they're showing up this late. This just had to have been like a super blue pack, but blue must, I mean, I don't know what other blue cards would be around that people aren't wanting to take these. I'm going to go with the Falcon Abomination here. I don't, 3 Organ Hoarders is okay, but it is a little much. And the Abomination's pretty on theme with what we're trying to do. Now that we have the second Evolving Wilds, we can definitely come back and play this Rite of Oblivion. I can figure out how to get it out of my sideboard. That would be, dragging it would be too easy to do. Am I wrong? There we go. You just can't drag it left or right. Look, that's insane. Look at this. Let me get it back in here. You click on it. Oh, now it's doing it. Now it's doing it that I've been talking trash. Okay. Fine, game. Fine. Oh, this is coming together nicely. Looks like we have 26 cards. It's really 24 because we've got the two Evolving Wilds sitting in our pile here. If we clean that up just a little bit, I really like where this deck is hanging out. Here's a tabled Jack-o'-lantern. I don't think we ever play two, but the option is there. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like what's happening here. We didn't get any of the ridiculous stuff. We didn't get the as with the champion of the parish draft where we had the two champion of the parish. We had the two scab wranglers or whatever the scab lord is, but then we didn't find any didn't find enough zombie generation for it to really be popping off. Do we ever play more Crit Behemoth? I don't think we do. I'm usually pretty happy with just like two big boys in here, but it is a little scary in terms of we didn't find any raised deads. That raised dead is what typically makes me feel okay about just playing like one or one and a half expensive cards. So maybe we do find a home for the Behemoth in this one. We have plenty of sacrificable stuff for it, so can certainly get played. Tabled all the jack-o'-lanterns. All right. All right. Not opposed to playing two. You really kind of want, two mana to get the Rite of Oblivion going, but it's just a matter of it. It's kind of a mana sink, right? It does cycle, but it takes a bunch of mana to come out and cycle that thing, and then get it in your graveyard and draw the card. You can self mill it, but we only have Organ Hoarders in this deck, so I'm not sure how greedy I want to get with that. Okay, so where are we at here? Let's go ahead and fix our land. I'm just going to go ahead and take out two plains, add in the two Terramorphic Expanses, whatever we're called in this one, Evolving Wilds. I don't know why they did that. Unless they just wanted you to have like a functional, second copy in Commander or be able to play like 8 of these in a various formats. I don't know why this isn't just Terramorphic Expanse, but that's fine. We'll get over that one. So let's see. I don't think there was anything else in our sideboard we were interested in. The Gaze we're not playing. Not playing Unblinking Observer. Don't need Heirloom Mirror. We found our top end. Okay, yeah, I think that looks good. How many creatures do we have? 17? Some creatures can definitely go. Okay, so yeah, we're not playing 3 Jack-o'-lanterns either. Like, let's definitely go ahead and cut one. It's just the problem is, right, if we're playing our Rite of Oblivion off of a Jack-o'-lantern, we only get one activation, and so it could be a bit awkward. I think we could probably live with that though. So let's cut out a second Jack-o'-lantern. We can cut one Novice Occultist. That leaves us with our 6 1 and or 2 drops to help cover off our early game. And then at this point, where are we at? 16 creatures. I could definitely go to 15 because Corpse Cobble technically counts as one. I think I'm okay with hanging on to the Behemoths. I'm not going to cut a Falcon Abomination, though. I'm looking at just cutting out a Hobbling Zombie. Makes me worry about our early game a little bit. Like, we're not particularly blocky in the early game. I mean, we have the Tainted Adversary, but, Siege Zombie, Novice Occultist, Scab Wrangler aren't really out here to be blocking. So it worries me to take one out. I could see an argument for just taking out a Falcon Abomination and dropping down to 3. But even these curves that are just like Falcon Abomination into Falcon Abomination are pretty strong. I think it can stay. Okay. Maybe we do just take out the Behemoth. I just worry about our ability to close out games if we take him out. Yes, we should still be fine. Between all of the Falcon Abominations, the Dreadhound, our horde of zombies, good late game in the Scab Wrangler, I think it's okay. Our spell's looking good. The one Jack-o'-lantern. We ended up a little light on removal. I'd like to have like one more removal spell, but that was all right. We dug our own grave with that one, right? We passed on some defense traits along the way, passed on Midnight Ambush along the way, but I think we're still okay here. Yeah, this looks good to me. Let's get to battle. All right, yeah, it feels kind of appropriate. We probably ought to just come out and force werewolves for our last draft tomorrow. Being the werewolf set, and then having werewolves be the worst archetype in limited is well played. Well played, you should say. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what they're missing in terms of the werewolves in this set. I have a hard time kind of like visualizing what the real payoff is. There's there's Tovalar, the red green one. There's the Planeswalker Arlen, which is just I mean she's good, but the rest of red green is so bad and limited that she feels pretty bad. Oh, nice work, my man! Just immediately flipping the aberration. Love seeing that happen. But let's see if we can't get a little salty here. Naturally hitting the aberration on the first turn. Because you also have to figure if you're playing like, 17 land and 15 dudes, it only leaves you room for like 8 spells. So if you have like 7 or 8 spells in your deck, gives you like the 20% chance to hit on the aberrations. Sometimes you just win that coin flipping contest. And it back. Seems kind of interested in doing something here. If it plays like flip the switch, it's not that bad. It keeps him from playing cards for the rest of the turn. Hopefully it just kind of like counters this Delver of Secrets for the rest of the game. If the best he can do is have a Delver on board, I'm pretty okay with it. The zombie trades for a combat trick, I'm also okay with that. Can't trade for Startle, right? Startle won't win the combat, it'll just cycle, but if he wants to play like a +2/+2 trick or something, then by all means. Right, well, welcome to the squad, Tainted Adversary. You'll fit in our curve nicely. Sure. See if he can bring those sweet tempo plays on us. Oh. The 3-color Delver of Secrets deck. Got it. Interesting. Well, whatever... like, Nebelgast Intruder would be bad here. I would imagine if he had, like, Nebelgast Intruder, he would have just played it last turn. Not real sure what this guy has going on here. Let's get the swamp out of our deck before we play the Organ Hoarder. Sure. Okay, no flip again. Up to 5 mana. Has to be a big bruiser coming down now, right? Hopefully we can just shut it down with the likes of a Tainted Adversary. Odrix, sure. Okay, now it's time to start skipping siege zombie activations. Oh no, we can do it. I believe in us. I've gotten pretty good at it over the course of the format. Almost missed it right off the bat, right out the gates. But alright, this is looking good. It should be apparent that we're up to shenanigans when we play the Falcon Abomination before we attack. But I want to attack with all these zombies and then sacrifice them off at the end of combat. And so I'd like to go ahead and just get the additional dude down. And then this also lets us, if say like Like, I'm fine to trade Tainted Adversary for whatever he has, but if his whatever he has is a Flare of Faith, then I'd like to be able to just sacrifice off the adversary as well. But he should be at least, if he wants to block with the Outrider, at least taking it down. He can only startle away one of its health. Or startle it down to one attack. It can't death touch across like 3 and 4 dudes. We're okay with this. We're going to lose the unit, so we only get to get 2 zombies worth of corpse cobbling, which I think is okay. And I'd rather get the damage in with the other one as opposed to going ahead and sacrificing it. We're getting them pretty close to lethal here. So the damage gets to happen. He takes 5. The decay goes on the stack. Now I want to siege zombie. Awesome. I apparently needed to press control because that just auto-resolved. Okay. Whatever. I didn't push a button, right? I'm not crazy in thinking that corpse cobble isn't instant. I didn't push anything. One day this game will not be ridiculously frustrating. One day. It's why in Magic Online I set stops on literally everything, and then just pressed F2 a lot. But to the best of my knowledge, I pulled up the hotkey screen, and of course, being wizards, you can't change the hotkeys because that was a feature that someone designed back in like 1987. Lord knows we wouldn't want to pick up on a 30-year-old feature like letting people change what their hotkeys are, and then. Whatever. Just let it go. Just let it go. This board would feel a lot better if we had the big corpse cobble laying down. What do we think about bringing it out anyways? I don't really like it here. It does make me feel a lot worse about this game, though. We've missed out on a point of damage with the siege zombie. We should have just a bigger dude on the board. It's kind of frustrating. This is fine if he takes the token block and puts a +1/+1 somewhere else. See if he puts it on the aberration. Nope. Alright, well, let's try for another corpse cobble play again. Maybe it won't get all fucked up this time. Works for me. He's out of cards. So, I mean, the 4/4 trades with our Tainted Adversary now, completely fine. Could not care less. We just got to keep grinding down this board. Takes a double block onto our token, which this will make Odrix like a 5/7 or so, but completely okay with that. Okay, now we've got our 2 dudes on board to do siege zombie stuff. If he didn't draw a creature, he can't block our dude next turn. Teferi, not bad. Not bad. Let's see, do look at the top 3 of your library, put 1 in your hand and the rest on the bottom. Okay, that's fine. So the question becomes is like, are we close enough to victory to just start ignoring Teferi? Or do we have to just be like going face with all of our stuff now? I think I'm kind of okay with sending... Oh, he has an Evolving Wilds in there. I was like, you really not hitting any land? Say, the Hobbling Zombie can go to Fairy. Let's see. Maybe we can just hit a lethal here. Make sure we siege zombie. We've already played our Geist Wave. It's like we don't have too many ways left to go face. So yeah, the idea here is if we attack with everything, you would have to either double block our 4/4 zombie or spread them out because he has menace, right? I don't think we're gonna get the catch here. Let's just add Falcon Abomination. This gets us to where we just win the game next turn. I think Teferi might gain some life, yeah, but this is okay. Okay. So he needs an answer to our Falcon Abomination here, right? We can deal 2 damage with Siege Zombie this turn, 2 damage with Siege Zombie next turn, and then 2 attack damage with the Falcon Abomination to get to that 6 damage mark. All right, hope he picked a good one. No attacks. Interesting. All right, so now with this one, I think I feel a little bit better in terms of attacking with the ground zombie, the hobbling zombie, and the Falcon Abomination. So if he has some kind of bounce spell play or something, we're at least chunking in a little bit more damage, and then he's not really anywhere near killing us with an attack back next turn. So I'd assume this is going to be a double block on our 4/4, a Bounding Wolf on our Falcon Abomination, and then he takes 2. Oh, yep. We should have just attacked with everything, right? How would that have changed? Say he blocks out. Yeah, we should have just lethaled him here. I don't know. I guess if he had a second interactive spell, he could cause some problems. I still don't think he would have the lethal next turn. Yeah, we probably should have just slammed the squad in. We can do the Scab Wrangler. Have the Rite of Oblivion for next turn if we want. Sure. Wasn't going to use it anyways. The things like that are ultimately what would have worried me about making the all-in attack there. I'm not exactly sure. He could have bounced our 4/4, blocked a couple of dudes. We may not have been lethal there. We might have been facing down a lethal on the way back if we'd attacked with everything. So being safe felt nice. I like it when things feel nice. Okay, on to the next one. So yeah, we'll see if we get it out. I'm looking to put out an intro to Crimson Vow type video in the next day or two as well. I'd like to get it out before Crimson Vows are released, or at least on release day. So if you're, you know, listening to my beautiful voice at work, then you still can listen to it on release day and then be primed and ready for your evening drafts. But I was looking to just do kind of the top looking archetypes of the format, but I am traditionally pretty horrible at card evaluation, and so might just be for the memes for you as you see what level I can get. Maybe have like a 50% rate of being decent on the cards. All right, this attack's free. He's never blocking with his Patrician Geist. It's too high powered, and then you run into Startle here quite frequently as well. So not surprised that went. Yeah, a good blocker for his unit now. It's the mono blue Ska Fairies deck. It's gonna play his Rising Tides on us. Just troublesome spirits. I'm sure you all are very familiar with all of those cards. This was a deck back in Mercadian Masks block constructed. There's a Rishadan Airship. It was a 3/1 flying for 3. There's a Troublesome Spirit, which now, I mean, like a 3/4 flying for 4 mana, you probably just print because nobody even cares. But at the time, that was deemed too good. And so it tapped all your lands at the end of your turn. There was that gem. And so those two combinations are what you were getting into the sky with. You were playing a bunch of like tempo cards, like unsummoned kind of cards, and then there was an enchantment. I think it was called Rising Tides, Rising something, but it cost like 4 mana, and then it only let players untap 1 land each turn. So to make up for your playing the thing that taps all of your land at the end of every turn, along with the thing that only lets you untap 1 land every turn, you would play like Gush. You'd play the Foil. That was kind of a shitty Force of Will. And you'd look to play Thwart, let you return 3 islands to your hand instead of casting it, counter a spell, and then it played some artifact mana. It was decent. It top 8'd the Pro Tour when literally everyone was playing Rebels. Rite of Oblivion. We can't cast it, but not a big problem. So let's see. I like to think that we could do something here with these bounce spells. Ooh, red cards as well. Interesting. Wonder if he's actually like blue-red splash white for something, as he's like Patrician Geist, and that makes spells cheaper. Not in a real big hurry here. This might be a bit ambitious on trying to cast the Revenge of the Drowned, but it does, give us a lot of tempo if this thing comes off the board, and then it gives us an additional zombie to tap his stuff with. And I don't think I care about tapping this. I'm just going to switch back into doing damage, right? If he wants to trade his Patrician Geist for Falcon Abomination, I think I'm pretty okay with it. We'll hang on to the Occultist. We'll try to block with it next turn. He does take it. Let's just bring our bro back. He's not doing anything, and I'm pretty happy to be just adding dudes to the board. Alright, we have both the Tapper and the Siege Zombie. Adding dudes is pretty good here. He did draw a Rite of Oblivion. This is what I was talking about being awkward with the Rite, and the Jack-o'-lantern takes quite a bit of mana, and then we aren't able to cast it twice. But this is okay. Tap his flyer. If he wants to attack into Hobbling Zombie, I'm pretty okay with it. Sure. Did you make this unblockable? Why can't we block? Oh, here we go. Just here we go. Problem solved. Alright, so this is a good looking jack-o'-lantern. Let's get this beloved beggar out of here. Market a permanent. Phantom Carriage can go. Auto pay, sure. Alright, not a bad little spot to be in. Opponents is down to 2 cards. Their board is pretty irrelevant. We're about to just make tons of dudes. I like it. Sure. Come in for that 2 damage here. Sure. Okay, then here comes the wall of zombies. Okay. Tap his 2/3, then we can look to block his Patrician Geist with our Falcon Abominations. Talk about making some zombies. How much can we get out of this? We want to spend 8 mana on the Tainted Adversary if we want to get the mountain of zombies. I think we can be greedy and go for it. None of these cards really feel worthy of a Rite of Oblivion, but we had to take our planes. We're only playing the 1 copy of it. Maybe we should have gotten in 1 attack with the Falcon Abomination. I don't know. Feels like everything's just going to be okay once we play this Tainted Adversary. And we're so close to just ending the game with a big zombie attack. Perfect. All right, now we have a bunch of taps and 16 power of zombies for next turn. I think we're gonna be okay. ready to tap some stuff. I wonder, do we ever just let him go into combat? Like, we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 creatures. So we could look to just do 3 damage to face. 4 damage to face. It's a little slow. And do we want to get one more? I think so. Top, please. So I wanted to leave the little birds up. They can't block. If he wants to attack with Patrician Geist, fine. And then on the ground-based stuff, I wanted to tap off his Disturb units. I guess it didn't matter tapping off the Disturb units in terms of he didn't have any mana, but let's see. So where are we at here? We've got the 2 Sifters and the Patrician Geist. Would like to be tapping. And if we assume we got 16 damage, we don't need a full 16 off of the zombie tokens, right? We just need 7 of them. So we'd have 1 zombie and the Falcon Abominations to tap. We have the Siege Zombie and these 2 units to tap. That would still leave him with 1 unit. Let's see. Here's 3 with the Falcon Abominations, 3 down here on the right, and then 14 from zombies. Okay, we're there. And make sure we didn't do that wrong. Okay, he agrees. It's quite the collection of bros on board there. Gotta win. Feels good. Who the fuck is this thing? so many of these avatars I'm not familiar with. Why didn't everybody just use like Chandra and Jace and Garuk? All right, we can hang on to this. It's not particularly strong, but it's got our good unit and a removal spell, reasonable mana in it. I think this is okay. No zombie horde today. Okay. Not quite willing to start throwing down no way outs. Tends to be pretty bad against Disturb. That's what I assume we're playing here against the blue-white cards. We could get around it to a degree since we have this Jack-o'-lantern, but I don't think I'm like really excited about that. Right? If we get them to discard 2, then we can Jack-o'-lantern some of it away. And that doesn't seem fun. This goes top with the Revenge. Alright, well, let's see how this plays out. We need to get something going. Planes and Candle Trap. Sure. Ugh. This is a very good place for Curse of Surveillance. Is have nowhere near ending this game. Alright, let's get that out of here. Maybe this Dreadhound is ready to do some work. I hope he's ready to do some work, because we're certainly running into troubles here. I ultimately worry here that he's going to try and hit us with the... what's it called? The counter spell? Like, why would he play Dennick as opposed to playing the Gale Drifter? And it looks like he's really trying to hold on to flip the switch mana. Okay, there we go. So it's good for a turn. I'm afraid it's going to get bounced pretty quickly, but you know, we gotta have something go right here as our opponent's drawing 2 cards a turn. Got a double block if he wants to block. All right, well, that's the kind of thing you need to do to beat a curse. Maybe we're getting there. Okay. Interesting, he hits the token instead of the Dreadhound. I would think the Dreadhound is ultimately the scarier unit here. All right, and then... well, I guess that kind of works. Get the Sky Wrangler down. Get the Falcon Abomination down. Now, tap the units. Let's hit the Gale Drifter. I would rather him be blocking with the Gavany Dawn Guard, since it doesn't have any come back into play capabilities. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. Dreadhound doing that work. Attacking or not, he's putting the damages in. So this is still good. If he wants to get in the block, he takes 2 points of damage. Quit looking at my graveyard and stuff. I don't approve of things like that. Alright, now we're afforded a bit of protection. If he has a bounce spell or something, we can sacrifice some stuff off. I don't think that's quite going to be our angle, but it's a possibility. Sure. Can't lethal us here, so if he wants to attack, we'll let him attack. Dual Craft Trainer. He doesn't have a Coven, though. He's got 2s and 3s. Guess he could have attacked with Morning Apparition there, and that would have been slightly awkward, but... okay. Can we just end this game with the Dreadhound? like, if say he double blocks it, we have the means to set. Yeah. We're good. We don't even have to attack, right? We can siege zombie for 1 and then corpse cobble away 3. Ooh, does this non-token? Whenever... I think this is fine. Whenever a creature dies. Boom. Oof. Hashtag LCS big plays right there. I guess you gotta hashtag the Arcane now, but I watched the first episode of Arcane. It was fine. The people on Reddit seemed to really enjoy it. I thought it was okay. It was weird to me that I mean, I guess it's kind of the origin story of a lot of these characters, but it was odd seeing the likes of Jinx and Vi and the squad, and I guess Echo was there. I didn't recognize the other people, but it's weird in them being like the teenage version and not the adult version, just from being in playing the League of Legends games for all these years. I don't know if they upgrade to adults as the show goes on or how that goes, but nonetheless, I think it was okay. The wife watched it and was entertained enough, I guess, which was somewhat surprising, but nonetheless. I think we can keep this. This is kind of the problem with Novice Occultist, is there's a pretty good chance with a hand like this, we're just going to put them down, and then they're not going to do anything. Like, opponents just not going to attack into them. They're just going to sit on the board. And if our Novice Occultists aren't doing anything, then we have this, like, really weird 5-lander with a Jack-o'-lantern in it, which also isn't really going to do anything. And so I'm not real excited about this hand, but it's so punishing to have to mulligan in this limited format. It's like, I don't know what... I know it's not like a 20% win rate when you go down to 6, but like being on the play, it just feels like you're so super far behind if you have to mulligan a card, since you're essentially down 2, right? No attacks. Oh. Look at all the colors I'm playing. Everybody's playing all the colors today. Alright, well, the double blocks with the Occultist at least feels okay. Much better than just trading it as a bad cycle. What you got for us, Dark Jedi Pete? I loved it so much, and as they're talking about the television shows in True Blood, just having the dude named Vampire Bill and Vampire Eric, it's so wonderful. You don't have to come out here with ancient sounding names like Dracula. You're just picking up your Bill and Eric, just random dude names. All right, that felt like a pretty aggressive spell onto our dude, but I mean, this turn's played out fantastically. It's like we had nothing to do. We got to cycle the Geist Wave, protect our Falcon Abomination, get another spell on board. Now we can like Jack-o'-lantern away this Rite of Oblivion if we want. I mean, I thought this turn has turned out quite nicely. Let's go ahead and pop this. Rite of Oblivion can go. I think I want to add any of that to the board. So we're missing out on our ability to play Flip the Switch, but our board quality just got huge. We can use the larder zombie every turn now. I'm really happy with how this is looking. Dude's just bringing the parties. So weird. Like I don't know what he's trying to accomplish, having 5 cards in hand, 5 land on board, and then just playing party captains. Like, not sure what the makeup of that hand looks like. We're looking pretty strong in hand now. So yeah, it's weird to me. Hook Hunt Drifter. I mean, are you really just sitting on a hand of like Flare Fates? You just have a bunch of Flare Fates and Startles and shit in hand? Like, the Flare Faith is pretty believable here. But I think I'm pretty okay with losing a Organ Hoarder to a Flare Faith. So let's add the Dreadhound, since we're planning on getting in some combats that we're about to lose here. Now we're getting to this nice space to where we should hopefully get a pretty good Flip the Switch. Okay. Dome him. Is he really just gonna like flashback bait hook angler and pass? it seems like this hand has been really struggling. Hang on to the Organ Hoarder. Keep the card advantage alive. Okay, so yeah, how do we feel about this? He's got the bait hook angler still back. He chose not to play it. If we, I just don't think we want to be risking our Dreadhound here. Like we can get Organ Hoarders on the board. It's like I guess we're like 2 for 1ing him if he has like it still feels like a Flare Faith. So say he can't do both though. If he says blocks with Party Captain and something. I don't know. I think we just want to keep our Dreadhound on board here. His damage ability is going to be quite useful, especially when we decide to just go all in. I mean, we could just go all in next turn, right? We could just add Tainted Adversary, make the 2 dudes. I like it. I like it. Right, so it's like a minimum of 4 damage next turn from zombie tokens alone. He doesn't have good blocks on them. Yeah, I mean, I think we're good to just attack with a bunch of stuff that isn't our Dreadhound. Do some more milling. Decline on that one. So yeah, say we attack with everything and he has Flare Faith, right? So he plays the Flare on the Party Captain, takes down the adversary, sure. Then he can put a Woken Demon and a Siege Zombie in front of tokens. He can put 2 Hook Hunt Drifter. This just seems too good. Just everything that isn't the Dreadhound. So he's going to be taking a minimum of 4 from the sacrifices. He has to make some amount of blocks here, and then all those additional deaths are going to go to the face as well. And then if, for whatever reason, something goes wrong here, we still have our Dreadhound for a future turn. It's the party captain on the Tainted Adversary. I'm so positive that the Flare of Faith is coming through. It's a lot of units dying, Dark Jedi Pete. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the adversary, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units total. I think you just realized what our Dreadhound does. But I mean, a trade is the same as a zombie token getting through. What's actually worse? No, it's still the same. Still 2 damage. It'd be 3 if it got through, but the future damage doesn't exist. All right. What you doing, Pete? Pretty sure this one's done. We just got a zombie token in as well. So we need 6 things to die. Looks like 6 things are definitely going to die. Ooh, Blessed Defiance. Gotcha. So that's definitely survivable now. It just doesn't have a board. Get all those activations in. Need one more. Do we got a way to sacrifice off a dude? Doesn't appear to be the case. All right, we got him. GG, Pete. Okay, on to the next one. Curious if I should just feel like Tainted Adversary is much better. I mean, he's been pretty strong in this deck. Like, if we would just trade him out for what is like the, you know, if he was a siege zombie or something, a lot of these games would still be winnable, but he's presented a lot of. I'm going to mulligan this one. It doesn't do enough. He's presented like a lot of power in terms of. It doesn't seem super strong. Like, it's not a big flashy play. It's not like we dropped a Moonveil Regent and chained out like 4 cards in a turn. But like the versatility and the just strength in those terms has been pretty high. We've drawn pretty well in this mulligan here. Feel decent going against blue-green, knowing that we have a Scab Wrangler somewhere. Oh, maybe he's not. Maybe he's playing blue-black splash screen. Everybody's playing 3 colors today. It's been weird. Okay, well, we have to be a little careful. I mean, our mana's fine, but we have milled away 3 land at this point. So we've got only down to the 30% chance here to draw land at this point. So, I mean, we're going to be up to 6. We're completely fine to just let them all go away. But if this was a space where we, say, had like 4 land and then 3 of these things in hand, we'd need to be a little bit more careful. I'm going to no-block this. I'd like to attack with the Organ Hoarder next turn if we're able to. I think we're definitely the aggro here. Card back is this? Kind of mountain-looking torch. I think I like it. Oh, he puts... Wow, he puts Gisa into the graveyard. Huh. He just doesn't have the swamp? Interesting. All right, it looks good for us. I mean, we've got our whole hand spewed onto the board. It's just a matter of, I mean, opponent does have 6 cards in hand, and so that's a function of us taking a mulligan and then our opponent being on the draw. So we're a little bit behind in those terms, but it's okay otherwise. And I'm more interested in drawing good cards here as opposed to dealing a point of damage with Siege Zombies. Letting the Corpse Cobble go is kind of interesting. We only get to cast it once. I think I like it. Digraph Horde is a little problematic, though. No longer get to be the aggro, and he's taken away our Corpse Cobble. We just drew a bunch of land. That was about as disastrous as a sequence could go. I was making the monologue about how we'd gotten rid of all the land, and then we just immediately draw 2 of them. This game, I think, has just gotten out of reach. It felt okay if we had the Corpse Cobble in the graveyard and then we picked up 2 cards here, but not good. So this has potential for disaster. If he kills both our Larder Zombie and our Siege Zombie, then we've got some problems, but I was going to say, they typically just take down the Organ Hoarder here, which makes me feel a little bit better. It's like the only good card left in our deck. I don't know, but if we're going to win the game, it's going to be with the Dreadhound. So let's go to the attack step. He should be tapping our Falcon Abomination first, and then maybe we'll get to shut down an attack next turn with the Dreadhound. It's not super likely, but we gotta have something go right. There's 2 damage. We did lose our Tainted Adversary, though. He would have been pretty good here, making 4 tokens, being the biggest dude on the board with the Dreadhound. Okay. But the games like that are why I typically keep like super sketchy 7-card hands. It's like we're so far behind in terms of just like before the game even started, just being down 2 cards is pretty tough to come back from. Like the game before, like that, when they go super long like that one did, then you've certainly overcome the amount of time that you've lost. You know, when you're going to like turn 15, being down one card off the mulligan isn't as bad. But in games like that one against like a tempo style opener, it's pretty painful. But good looking stuff here. Very similar to last game. I think we also drew perfect in that one, and it just still just got blown out. All right, well, we'll trade for the Flare Faith. We would get to start doing uh, Falcon Abomination things next turn, but I mean, it feels like as long as we keep his aggression at bay, we should be okay here. See what our friend Dreadhound is ready to do this game. No blocks. Okay. So this is hopefully slightly awkward for them, right? If they discard a land, then they may not be able to play the Gale Drifter. But if they're holding on to a land as their kind of last cards, it's a bit of a struggle. He did discard both Startle and Gavany Silversmith, so that was a particularly good one, and that land was perfect. Dreadhound ready to put in some work. So we did some big chunks of damage. If he has like a bounce spell, then this is going to look pretty bad, but we get to flip the switch like actual anything here. It'll be quite good. And especially if this is one of these games to where he like sends it to our turn and tries to Revenge of the Drowned in our attack step or something, this flip the switch is going to be game breaking. It's not like super strong, but just go ahead and get it out of here. Surprised he didn't like block, say like block the Dreadhound and then bounce the creature back. Right, so you get the block in and prevent the damage. I'm not real sure why he played the thing first. But Zim the best knows best. Okay. That's not a game winner. Our zombie tokens will win the game on their own. Got him. And one win out of Diamond. Let's see if we can't get ourselves there. If we lose, we can't get hit it in this run, right? We only have one. That was win number 5. We can still get there with a loss. Let's see if we can't upgrade our status. People be saying, "Whoa, bust." You hitting that diamond. do we got? That's a curve. That'll work. Our boy, our boy Dreadhound showing up a little early, but everything else is looking okay. We hit a land. We got the 2/3/4. I'd rather start with the Siege Zombie than the Wrangler. If one of our 2-drops has to die, we want it to be the Siege Zombie. It's a little lower value than the Wrangler is. If he plays like Bait Hook Angler, we're not attacking here, but it's fine. Uh-oh, Bratty Mac, did you stall on the lands? That's not good if you did. It's thinking real hard on this discard. What was that? The Windgeist, the Windrake guy? Yeah, Malevolent Hermit. Okay. No blocks. Okay. Oh, we missed a point of damage. I think that's been our first one, though. I think that was our first Siege Zombie missed of the... so that's pretty good. That's pretty good, all things considered. I'm usually... I get to talking and stuff, and it affects my ability to remember the Siege Zombies. He comes in for an attack, it just like reeks of a startle. I think I'm just willing to take it. It seems like he's like certainly having some kind of mana issues here. And so if he gets to piece together one of these draws where he like startles into a land and plays another 2-drop, it's just like so abysmally bad. But if we take 4 damage and then his play is to like follow up with Windrake, then sure, that seems pretty good to me. Okay. I cannot counterspell your creatures. We missed our 4th land. 2 turns in a row. But we're still running strong here. Okay. Takes it back. Says, give me them damages. So how do we feel if he starts attacking? If like I think it's okay. Like, I'm just going to take the damage. I still worry about the startle. And I feel like this turn is even worse than the previous turn, as to where, like, it doesn't seem like he really has much to do. Like, he could have a Revenge of the Drowned or something that he can spend with his mana, but I would assume at this point he's, like, got a handful of white cards outside of maybe, like, 1 or 2 things. And it's just kind of a disaster if... You know, we block this Geist, he startles to kill our Falcon Abomination, draws a Plains, and then gets to spend all of his mana when we're at 20. You know, it's just a couple points of damage. This is not a big deal. And then even if he, say, plays Gale Drifter here, that's fine. We can get in there and trade with that thing. Interesting. That's one way to spend all your mana. Draws another island. Oh, we missed our Siege Zombie again. Fuck me. We'll remember it eventually. We'll remember it eventually. I'm feeling pretty good about our startle play, so. Bratty Mac probably over there getting all salty, playing against this dumb not using their Siege Zombies. That's aggressive. Alright, I remembered this time. Alright, this definitely gets around to startle. Okay. So not the cleanest of games, but those are the ones that you deserve. Those are the ones that should rank you up into the next gem tier. Is missing half your triggers across the game, still getting the win. Nice. Okay, final battle. We get 2 shots at it. Not bad. If we're gonna force werewolves for the next video, then it would be nice to get a 7 winner for the not memes. Assemble a real deck, take it to 7, and then I think I will do that. It seems appropriate for the last midnight hunt draft to come out here and run around with not with vampires, with werewolves. So I could get behind that. Tune in tomorrow for the epic run, the epic 1-win 3-loss trial of the werewolves. Alrighty, what do we got going on here? I guess that's a keep. I mean, we have to pick up a plains with one of these evolving wilds, so we'll have like the Esper land. Don't have any double colors, so it's okay. Then no real plays until 3rd turn. All right. It's Mountain Bro here. Let's see. Crash them festivals. Let's wait to turn on the Hobbling Zombie. Like, I like just coming in and getting the shutdown with the Festival Crasher. Like, the way that you tend to succeed against these Festival Crashers decks is making them spend a bunch of mana to not get damage out of it. And so it's like if he has a Midnight Lightning Bolt here, it kind of like sucks for us. But if we're able to take a turn and kind of like shut this thing down with a Hobbling Zombie, like if he spends his lone removal spell on our Falcon Abomination and then we can shut down the Crasher next turn with the Hobbling Zombie, then it works out pretty nice. Is the flip the switch? No. Okay. This is typically not how you're wanting to play the Festival Crashers deck. I'm curious about that, if he actually had perhaps a removal spell or a combat trick or something. That's like you usually just want to play the Electric Revelation in the middle of combat. Here we go. Here's the... That was what I was expecting the turn previous. I'm going to play it a little slow. Feel like we're going to get a good flip the switch here, and we're just like really mana efficient doing it this way. We're not at risk of dying just yet. Didn't miss it. Go us. Okay, we can Infernal Grasp if we need to. We don't have to Rite of Oblivion down this Festival Crasher. And I still think we're going to get a flip the switch here. Well, we're going to get it because I'm gonna cast it on whatever he's playing, but I'm going to ensure that we get the card. We're getting pretty close to lethal here with our zombies. So I'm looking to just like block the Festival Crasher this turn with the Siege Zombie, just try and get them to spend some mana that they don't need to spend, right? If they're trying to boost it with a Startle or something, then fine. We can get the Infernal Grasp out of it. Ooh, just the Stinger. Okay. No blocks. So how do we feel about this? I like hanging on to the Infernal Grasp just because it's an instant. But, I mean, we can removal spell 2 of his units this turn. If we draw a land with Revenge of the Drowned, that would be pretty backbreaking for him, though. Seems pretty decent, right? And we just get to attack with everything here. Don't think we're gonna Rite of Oblivion this Voldaren Stinger. We'll let that one go. But it's got us pretty close to lethal. Feeling good. Tap out for something that doesn't matter. Play your Mounted Dread Knight. that's what we want to see, right? Just drop that Dread Knight down. Spend all your mana on some dude that doesn't matter. Don't even need the spell at that point. I guess we can at least say, like, tap out for your Purifying Dragon or something, right? Just a 5 mana flyer on the board. Uh-oh. He highlighted our unit. Dead. Got him real dead. Well, I mean, we can empty out the board this way. It leaves us, with 2 units away from getting a Siege Zombie kill as opposed to 1, but I think I'm okay with this. Target the Hoarder, sacrifice the Zombie token. Now we can attack with the Siege Zombie, and he has to block. Okay, but yeah, the downside is we need 2 units now to start doing Siege Zombie damage, but hopefully this is enough. It's like, how bad is this if he has a Nebelgast Intruder? Guess we're gonna find out. Okay. We can put you on top. Revenge of the Drowned feels much better than Nebelgast Intruder. We'd have just gotten completely blown out by that. Hey, well, he knows we got this Siege Zombie. Shouldn't be anything too different for him here. And if he's just going to keep Revenge of the Drowning us over and over again. Yep. I mean, I think we're fine to keep going top. Just knowing that we have a dude to come up. We have to deal 2 damage to our opponent. We have a 2-attack dude on top of our deck. I mean, we would rather be drawing Falcon Abominations, but I think this is fine. And we're still in kind of the space to where if he taps out for a big dude or something, then we can play our Hobbling Zombie and then Rite of Oblivion off his dude. Also gives us a zombie for our troubles. He's reading Light Up the Night. That can only hit Planeswalkers on the flashback. Or you have to remove loyalty counters from Planeswalkers to do the damage. Oh god, what is this? This is going to be a Lunar Rush? He's trying to do stuff I don't approve of. Oh, he's trying to light up the night and didn't read it right or something. Oops. All right. We might get to end this game at some point. No Way Out's close to doing it. It's to interact with our Hobbling Zombie, or we can take down his Stinger. I'm going face is pretty good. Cool. There we have it. Nice little trophy for our troubles. So cool. GG's, my man. Nice little 7-win victory for us. Sorry you have to watch the zombies again. I think the last draft was zombies. I don't think the last 2 were zombies though. Oh no, we had the blue-green ramp deck last. That's the Champion of the Perished one was like 2 ago or so. So you got a break. But all right, let's get this one pulled up. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Okay, and so yeah, our last zombies draft of the format, and so it was nice to hit diamond, but I was wanting to hit mythic before Crimson Vow came out. I felt like I could do it if the set was released next week on the 19th when it comes out on paper, but being released like 2 days from now, 3 days from now, whenever it comes out, I'm just not going to have enough time to do it, but. Yeah, we'll be in there in diamond and stuff. Maybe when we get to come out and stream a bit, we'll be in mythic and everyone will be impressed with us. Everyone on Twitch will say, "Whoa, Bust, you're the best. You're the best at the mythics." but nonetheless, back to this deck. I mean, the blue black deck is, it's one of the top ones in the format, and there's not too much to it. Again, like kind of the big thing with this deck, if you do ever draft this format again, is you need to determine if you're gonna have some kind of like zombie go wide interactions, which we are able to do here. Right, you have our Larder Zombie and our Scab Wrangler taking advantage of the units generated. Most commonly by something like Falcon Abomination, but also by Tainted Adversary. Or if you're just going to be kind of like a blue-black control deck, and that tends to just be a big pile of removal. You clog up the board, ideally with some 2/3s, like the Scab Wrangler or not the Scab Wrangler, the Scab Abomination, whatever the 2/3 zombie thing is kind of the preferred one. But, with bait hook anglers, component collectors, just whatever you lock up the board with, stall out the game, play your removal spells, do your Organ Hoarder things, draw some cards, and then just win with something big. And so I think that's, the big thing in this format when drafting blue-black is determining if you are the kind of blue-black flyers control deck or if you are the you are the zombies deck. And we made mention of it in the draft where it was like we had all the pieces of the zombies deck coming together. I feel like we had the Tainted Adversary along with like 2 Falcon Abominations and maybe like a Hobbling Zombie and maybe a Revenge of the Drowned. So we had like 5 or 6 zombie cards at the end of pack 1. And then we just kind of called out that, hey, we need to find something to do with all of this width. And then we were gifted with the Scab Wrangler, but even if it's just a larder zombie or two, that's typically enough. And I do think, we did end up closing out some games with the Siege Zombie, but surprisingly enough in this format, I do think that larder zombie is better than Siege Zombie. I think you can kind of get away with not drafting larder zombies. I don't think the community ever really came together to realize, how strong larder zombie is in comparison to siege zombie. So you tend to be able to get the larder zombie just kind of late, especially in terms of like a lot of the blue white decks and a lot of the blue X decks that aren't blue black don't want this unit, whereas pretty much every black deck in the format plays siege zombie. The larders tend to go a little bit late. I guess it's also kind of the same thing as to like why are startles going so late. I guess everyone doesn't draft as much as we do, and they aren't out there getting this ultra informative content such as yourself is doing. But yeah, I think we can switch to the draft. I think that was, the big thing here was determining whether or not you're playing zombies or blue-black control. We figured out pretty early we were drafting zombies, and then we got paid off for Impact 2 with the Scab Wrangler. Then, we also picked up on a few things between the Rite of Oblivion and watching for the additional mana generation. The Rite played fantastically in this deck today. Couldn't have asked for more out of this, and that all worked out pretty well. Then Dreadhound also carried his weight. Not bad at all. And so, I mean, all looked pretty good. Let's take a peek at the draft again here real quick. Okay, and so yeah, we were talking at the beginning about this Tainted Adversary versus Eaten Alive pick, right? We immediately kind of said the Tainted Adversary is better than the Farmhand and the Gale Drifter, but is it better than any of these just big removal spells? And I think now that after we've played through this, like I think I've had the Adversary before, but I didn't have it in a deck that could like really support it that well. But here it was pretty strong. It's not like, hey, I opened a Mythic Planeswalker or I opened a Pack Rat kind of strong, but it is definitely quite good. He carried his weight. Again, I think he's one of these cards that doesn't look like it's doing a whole lot. He doesn't look like he's hard carrying a game, but he is putting in a lot of work and carrying a lot of weight on his zombie shoulders. And so at the end of the day, after we got to play with him again, I do feel like he is better than Eaten Alive. And as you could see, like throughout this draft, I know we passed on like 2 defense traits and a Midnight Ambush. If you want to get the black removal, you can get it. It's not that challenging to find, but these early good units in black are tough to find, right? You have Larder Zombie, you have the scab thing, the zombie +1 attack guy, and then other than that, all your dudes suck at combat. And so just having this meaty 2/3 that's good early and good late is pretty fantastic to have. So stand by that one. Here into pick 2. You could look to take the Midnight Ambush, but we got the zombie generator in pick 1 along with the zombie generator in pick 2. I think it's pretty safe to just come in and try and draft zombies. Objectively, the Gavany Dawnguard is stronger than the Falcon Abomination. But again, I don't like drafting white-black. I don't think it's a particularly good deck unless it all comes together, and getting the pieces to all come together is pretty tough to do. Pack 3, great finisher in Dreadhound. Again, he's way better than Morcrit Behemoth. He's better than the Scab Zombie Maker. Just a great, fantastic closer. We won tons of games with him today. Very, very strong. This is the kind of pack where we look to see if there's something that we can wheel, right? This is just a super Esper heavy pack. You assume that the rando red drafter might just pick up the Perforator, and then you just have all these blue-black cards tabling. But I don't think we got anything back out of this, and we didn't luck into the Geistwave or the Craw from the Cellar. I think we got like Otherworldly Gaze or something out of this at pick 11. Oh, we did get the Geistwave. Go us. So that was a bit of a win. Infernal Grasp is fine. This is the best removal spell in the set. Very easy take. And then we start getting into the questionable territory as to whether or not we actually think blue-black is open with the Novice Occultist at pick 5. But it's just a bad pack. Revenge of the Drowned at 6 is pretty easy. Back again with another Occultist. Again, not something we really want, but it at least fills in the curve. And I think it was a fairly straightforward set of cards after here. 11th pick Geistwave was nice. Then a bunch of trash. And then, so yeah, this is where we called out, okay, we've got, the zombie deck together. We have the 2 Abominations, the Tainted Adversary, the Revenge of the Drowned, but we don't have any of the big payoff cards, right? We need to find We need to find, larder zombies and scab wranglers and such. And so I definitely see an argument for taking defense straight over the Falcon Abomination. But, we already, at this point, we have a Geist Wave, we have Revenge of the Drowned, and we have the good black removal spell and Infernal Grasp. It's not unreasonable to think we'll pick up targeted removal at like pick 2 through 4. And so I think the Falcon Abomination here is fine. I still like that pick. Pick 2, we're gifted the Scab Wrangler, easy. Pick 3, we have to take the Rite of Oblivion. And I think this was pretty fair, right? We mentioned you see a lot of, picking this up now lets us know that we need to get the Jack-o'-lanterns and we need to get the Terramorphic Expanses. And we were certainly able to do that throughout the draft. Okay, the Hobbling Zombie over Geist Wave is fine. The Unit Generator, don't like having tons of bounce. Corpse Cobble over Defense Straight. This one is a little bit more close. We could have definitely lived without the Corpse Cobble. And then at the end of the day, we would have just been playing like more Crit Behemoth over the Corpse Cobble. I think in this draft, I would have preferred to have had the Defense Straight, but this turned out to be okay. I think I'd like the Corpse Cobble just like a little bit later. In this one, we should have taken the Defense Straight. I think that was probably the only place this draft went off. Still like to flip the switch. Larder Zombies easy. Here's the, if we did take that Defense Straight and didn't find, more Crit Behemoth or something, we could play the Heirloom Mirror. I concede that it's not a particularly strong card, but it fills in the needs sometimes. Our 10th pick Organ Hoarder with Crawl from the Cellar. Insane. But that one went fine. And then I think it was probably pretty straightforward the rest of the way. Siege Zombie over the Bounce, Falcon Abomination number 100 over the Midnight Ambush, and then the Zombie Generator, Organ Hoarder, Zombie Generator, Mana Fixing, Zombie Generator. Pretty straightforward, I think. So yeah, not a bad draft. So let's crack these gems. We'll call it a day. Okay, prize is claimed. Packs are opened. And so yeah, as to, kind of keep you abreast of what's going on. Crimson Vow, today, I guess this video will come out on the 10th. I think Crimson Vow comes out on the 11th. And so we'll look to start making that Crimson Vow material. Going to be on Twitch on the weekends now. And so on Saturday and Sunday should be at twitch.tv/ftpbust. Looking to start at 9 in the morning and then go until about noon. We gotta be done before the football starts, and so I think 9 to noon is probably pretty reasonable, and is what I'm expecting to do in the future. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out, see if it works with my life schedule and stuff. But that is the plan for now. And so, if you'd like to join us live, we'll be over on Twitch Saturday and Sunday from 9 to noon Central. Yeah, that's going to do it for us today. Hope you all enjoyed our last draft of the zombies. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.